This is Between Hooksets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the fishing crew.
I'm not going to get a mess with your hook sets much longer.
Yeah, I really don't know. I thought I had you blocked. I thought I had you blocked there, but no. You know, speaking of that, there is a cock block bar in Dallas, South Dakota.
Oh yeah,
I did not know that. I'm like, really? They named the bar that. And here's the other thing: I didn't know there was a Dallas, South Dakota either.
Dallas isn't famous for one thing.
Yep. Dallas is famous for one thing. You know what? And I just about blew it by saying something I shouldn't have said, and I'll tell you when we get done, because it would have been too soon, in poor taste, not good at all. So bad. Uncle Lou. How's Aunt Lou?
Well, we have a big night tonight.
Yes, we do.
Returning
no
guest
doubt about it.
And two-time National Walleye Tour champion.
Yeah, dude, so I wanted to call him Tommy Two-Time, but I didn't want to offend him at all because I didn't want to offend him. And so, Tom, hello.
Hey.
So would it offended you if I called you Tommy Two-Time?
No, it kind of has a little bit of a ring to it.
That's what I thought. I'm like, okay, well,
it's better than Two-Time and Tommy.
Yeah,
it's all.
Yeah.
It's all in. Yeah, yep, right. It's in the presentation. There's no doubt about it. Oh, look at there. Grams.
We're trying to get the franchise to stick. I like Dinger's nickname
franchise.
for you.
I like the franchise. I truly think it's about the right thing there.
Yeah, so, Dinger was in the right place at the right time when he heard that one. Like it was Greg Wollner, former CEO of Northland, saw me walking through ICAST a couple years ago, and I was by Dinger, and he hollered franchise. Now Dinger won't let it. He won't let it rest.
I think it's fantastic. Trapper, how you doing there, pal?
So obviously sitting in the boat. You told us before we got on the show. First time back in the boat since the championship a week ago. I suppose you just been, overloaded with phone calls, text messages, and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. So I want to give you a big shout out for hopping on ours. I mean, that's
yeah, it's awesome, man. I always enjoy sitting with you guys, and it's been nuts since I had that trophy in my hands till now. I still have some messages to respond to, but it's been crazy. And today just got back out on the water in Minnesota, getting some content with a social media influencer. You guys will see some posts tonight and maybe tomorrow. And it was a fun day.
Yeah. Well, so what lake are you on? Can we ask that question?
Yeah, we're in Minnesota. We're in between the cities and Alexandria. So we're just trying to figure out where we can get some good content, whether we catch a fish or not.
Yeah.
Oh, that and people stay out of your way, right?
Yeah. People are fine. There's not too many people fishing right now. So
yeah, right on. Yeah, you got to have privacy. It's not like you go out in your boat and nobody knows who you are anymore, right? Oh my God, there's Tom Huynh.
Oh yeah, and the big old giant N on the side of it doesn't help, But
it definitely screams Tom Huynh. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Seabird.
Outdoors.
Yeah, that's old Chad up there in Canada. Thanks, Chad.
It's always good to see those guys. They've been catching big fish, and they attribute that to the THU too.
No, he was one of the first. He was one of the first to jump on THU, and they're up there in Canada catching some, up in Saskatchewan catching some big ones.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So you go in and you win another championship, and I was looking at Bala stats. You weighed the heaviest 10 fish ever in NWT history on Green Bay. And I'm sitting here watching. I'm an avid fan of yours. I'm an avid fan of tournaments, and I'm watching you going to the championship. I'm like, this is going to play to Tom's strategy. You get there, and you kind of knew that you probably weren't fishing Friday, it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, about Tuesday.
Yep. So we knew that. We knew that.
You found some fish, and I was like, the likelihood of them things being there is going to be slim to none.
Yep. Yeah. No, you're right. So we just when I got out there, the forecast basically the extended forecast held true for one of the first times ever. Like, and that showed that we were going to have one, maybe two blow days, and but I focused on a core area of Green Bay. It's massive water, and I traveled with Corey Sprangle for this one, and he is the most knowledgeable about that body of water anybody I've ever seen. Like in practice, for example, this is crazy to me. In practice, we were going around. If I caught a fish, whether it's big or small, I would send a picture of my unit to my screen to Corey, and he and he would sorry, he would
We would have caught
that one. Corey enjoys that kind of stuff, but I sent him a picture of my waypoint, and all that was around it. Well, you could see the contours, and he would get back and he'd be like, know exactly where it was without me telling what it was, just by the contours. It was insane. But yeah, and anyway, so we knew the wind was going to be pretty strong from the west, and I was wanting to make a run and check out stuff I found last year. So last year we had a 3 fish limit per day, and I made the big run all the way up to Big Bay last year. It's no secret. And I only caught 3 fish that entire tournament, but I think I finished like 14th or 17th still with 3 fish only. So I had big ones, but I was really curious. I wanted to go up there, but on one of the calm days, but then talking to him and seeing what kinds of winds were coming, he's like, man, that water temp could change up there. Not just that, but the run up there is going to be brutal. And so he reeled me in a little bit, and I just focused around that whole entire islands area on the east side where the wind was blowing into. And he said that was going to be probably the most stable water. So all of practice, I just focused on that core area of islands and never left that in practice. And that's what helped me there, just by narrowing it down. And I only found 2 spots, though. I found 2 spots. One, the first spot I went to as Sean and I found it in practice. And anytime we saw fish there, it was big. So I was like, well, hopefully this wind doesn't affect it. Day 1, it did not. Day 1, I went in there, and every single fish that I could see with my forward-facing sonar was big. And it's not like it was a bunch of fish, but it's not like I had to look at them and be like, okay, that one's small, I'm not casting at it. I was like, if I saw a mark, it was big. And that was key too, because my co-angler was sitting right here at my steering wheel with my sniper marine pole right here, and he was shooting out 130 or more feet. Because here's a little tip for anybody watching this. So when I'm up front, everybody knows I'm panning back and forth, typically at about 100 feet, because at 100 feet, my processor's still running perfectly smooth. It's not jumpy. I can dictate size of the fish on the fly faster at 100 feet, but I'm panning like this constantly when I'm fishing. But that only gives me a big swath of area. Don't get me wrong. But when I have a live scope here at the dash pointing straight out at 130 feet, that's way more than I can cover up front, if that makes sense. So I told my co-angler, I'm like, look, we're in this together. We're going to try to win this championship. And he was very instrumental. First thing he did when he met me at the tournament meeting, he was excited. He's like, Tom, I'm a student, and that made my day. And so I told him, I said, any fish that you see, just let me know. Just let me know. And so he pointed me in the direction of 3 or 4 fish actually that we caught on day 1 for that 43 pounds. And he is to be owed a big amount of credit for that success on both of those days, actually.
That's a testimonial, right? I mean, that's a big deal. So, okay. So I've been in that area, I don't know, 4 or 5 times over the last 3 years. Every time I've been there, Corey's been there.
Okay.
Like, I sent a note to Dan Spengler. I'm like, guess who's here again? I'm like, does he live here? Yeah,
he does.
It's crazy. Yeah, right. It's nuts.
Yeah, he lives right there.
So you're 5 years into not just tournament fishing, but fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Yeah. No. So
Right.
walleye fishing. Yes. Walleye fishing. I just started in 2020, toward the end of 2020 is when Nate and I jumped in that first walleye tournament just for something to do, and then it just became something that we needed to follow, make sure that we see that we were onto something, and so it hasn't really been that long.
So when you're touring around, 95% of the bodies of water are new to you.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm going with this is we got guys that fish memories. So you starting your story of going to Green Bay, you were going to go fish a memory. Do you find yourself when you come back to a lake fishing memories, or are you just like, I'm going
Good question.
every time?
Good question.
No, I'll go check it. So like if I've been to a place, I'll go check the area. If I did well there before, I'll go check it. But now with forward facing sonar, it's a quick check. You know what I mean? It's like you're there. If they're not there, you're gone. You're not spending time on it. Like for example, that first spot on day one, when I got to my spot on day one of the tournament, I never left that spot. I was on my trolling motor all day long until I turned on the Suzuki to go back to weigh in. Right. So in that area, that spot was only, it was not even a quarter mile long. It was small, and I was just waiting for fish to filter through. So then day 2 was a blow day. Day 3, I go back out there, and as some of you can see on my live, I go out there, I make one pass, and it wasn't, you can see how big the area was. It wasn't that big. I made one pass, and I didn't see a single fish, not one, not a minnow, not a sheephead, no walleyes, not a single fish. And in my brain, talking about fishing history, even though the history was only 2 days prior, like in my head, I really bad wanted to make another pass through there. But then I told myself, Tom, you got to take your own advice. You got to, this water temperature on the Great Lakes here has dropped 7 to 8 degrees in 24 hours. You need to just move. You need to go. So I did. So that is what I mean about forward facing sonar. I could see that there was nothing there. Just imagine now if we didn't have forward facing sonar, how long I would have stayed fishing that, casting at that, trying to get something to bite there when there was nothing there. So fishing history now it isn't really a problem like it used to be, because if you've got to trust your electronics, and if they're not there, they're not there. So then I went to the second spot, same exact thing. They were cleared out, and that was my only 2 spots. That was my only 2 areas. And I was telling myself in my head, like, I'm done. You're done. You're gonna zero in this tournament. I was just trying to go ahead and justify it and make sure I was good with it mentally. And so I sat down, fired up the big motor, and all I did was head east, the direction the wind had been pushing for days. And so I just started heading east until on my Garmin on my 2D I could see the water temp raise like 4 or 5 degrees or so instantly. I was like going, and then all of a sudden it was like jumped up, and I'm like, huh. So then I just literally stopped in a place I haven't fished before and put the trolling motor down in the same depth basically that I was fishing on day 1, but I stopped and put the trolling motor down, started panning around, and instantly I could see bait. Instantly I could see smaller fish on the bottom. I could see some suckers and some sheephead, and then I finally saw a walleye. I cast it out. It was a 4-pounder. I held that thing in my hand for probably 60 seconds because you can't put them in your live well. If they hit the live well, they're in there to stay. And so I held it for probably a minute thinking like, am I going to keep this? I just kept in my head, like, am I going to keep it? And it's probably, the NWT camera guy, it's all on film, but I threw it back in the water and just started searching. And as I'm searching with the wind, and I got these new, I got the power brakes on my boat now.
Yeah. Okay.
They sent them to me like right before the championship. I'm telling you,
the guy from the Bassmaster Classic I introduced you to.
Yes. He said yes. He got a hold of me right before, right around when we were in Erie, right before Erie, but I didn't have time to put him on. So we put him on, and that was key. But anyway, I'm scanning and I'm working with the wind. Dylan Nussbaum's in the area too. Dylan's cool, but we ended up sharing a lot of water together in tournaments. But he was near me, and we were both fishing the same area. Dylan, though, he was going upwind with the big motor, and he'd make his drift back searching. Upwind, drift back searching. I never fired up my big motor still. I was just like going in little circles. But what I noticed was I would go downwind a little bit, and then I would turn with the trolling with the Kraken, and I would go upwind, even if it was slow, and I'd be searching. And I noticed, like looking at my tracks on my chart, I kept slowly moving east because that cold water was actually slowly moving, pushing those fish. So there was actually a wall of cold and warm water where it met, and that was my structure. So those fish were right by that structure, and that's where that concentration of fish I actually ended up finding. And that's why I went in. Not a lot of people know this, but I was back to I struggled so bad in the morning. A lot of my followers and stuff out there watching the live, they're getting nervous because I didn't catch anything for a long time. But I was back to the dock by 12:40.
Yeah. So you said that on stage, didn't you? That you came back early. I don't know that you said you came back that early. But
yeah, no, I didn't say I came back that early. But yeah, I said I came back early. But that was crazy how fast it happened once I figured out they were just stacked along that kind of that cold water was pushing them. And you think about it, that cold, that the west shoreline iced out. That's why a lot of anglers, their fish left. And I never fished that shoreline in the entire practice because of the threat of that high wind. And so even though that's the protected side, that's the side that is going to ice out first. So I just think about all those fish through that whole system getting pushed for days, that concentration of fish right in front of that cold water. And I just happened to put the trolling motor down. I noticed it. You pay attention to your water temp. People a lot of times forget about or don't even think about it. 2 years ago, I never would have thought about it. I would just went fishing. But that's huge, especially on the Great Lakes.
Well, especially after a big blow day. And that was, going into it, like when I was watching, I'm like, this blow day is going to really throw these guys off completely. And, and I'm like, Tom isn't probably going to go, and I'm just speculating. I was like, Tom probably isn't going to go chase a bite that if the fish aren't there, he's not going to stay long. He's going to figure out. I tuned into your live for a little bit and could tell, like, I didn't watch the whole thing. I was in and out. And I could tell you were struggling, and I'm like, oh, man. Oh, yeah. And it takes me back to, like, Gov Cup. Like, Bo Schilling did not have a fish in the boat at noon. And he left his fish. He left the fish that were there because they wouldn't bite. He came back, and by 1:30, he was driving back into Spring Creek.
Wow. Yeah.
Six
really nice
fish for 30 pounds in the box in an hour span, after he left him and come back. And so, he's a very good live scoper. I'd love to see you two head to head one day to see what would happen because the kid's incredible. Yeah. And I know he's a student because he told me, he goes, I got that right away. And he goes, I know a lot of it, but I learned some stuff. So I'll tell you, even the best learned stuff off of that. But it's magical how fast it can happen.
Yeah, it is.
Right. And that's what it's about. It's about finding the right fish, right?
Yep, it is. It's just finding the right fish. In Green Bay, I mean, that's all there is out there. I think is the right fish, but you just have to find them and to make them bite though. It was a pretty finicky bite. Like in practice, me and Sean went out and we had really good conditions, very little wind. We could see these big fish pretty much anywhere we went. We could see them, but we could not get them. It was hard to get them to bite. I think 2 days we had 6 fish. A couple days we had 1 fish. I think one day we had 8, but still nothing. Still where it's a little bit nerve wracking to try to get a limit. And coming into this tournament, in Green Bay we fished it pretty much every year in the NWT. Now this is the first year I've actually caught a tournament limit. And before the tournament and interviews, people would ask me, "Are you on them? Are you catching them? Are you cracking them?" People assume that, I think, a lot. Like we're just out there catching 30, 40 fish a day and anywhere we go. But I started thinking about it, and I told him, I'm like, you know what? I've never caught a full tournament limit on Green Bay. And but even competitors, I would tell them, if I catch a limit, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and so
that's what,
you said on stage that's third day, or basically the second day, championship day, that you took the fish you caught, and that was it, and you were done. So you had the 24. Was that before you moved, right?
no. It was at the spot where I ended up catching all the fish. I caught that smaller fish.
Okay.
It was a 4-pounder, and then toward the end, we did catch one. We had 5 fish in the box, and then I caught one that was around 6 pounds, and I did throw it back in the water. And then on like 2 casts later, I catch a 29-inch 8-pounder, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go in.
So a buddy of mine called. He's like, "Damn, Tom, when you walked on stage before you brought your fish up, you're like, we kept what we caught." And he's like, "I thought, God damn it, he lost it."
Yeah, yeah. No,
and I'm like,
you sold it pretty good.
I said, I kind of thought that, but how Tom said it, knowing Tom well enough, I'm like, he's got him. He's got
yeah. So I did tell the truth on that. I pretty much caught what I caught, but I honestly thinks he's real cool. That's probably Dewey, just not letting me have my glory here. You know what I mean? What the heck? but no, on the water in the harbor there, I weighed my fish, so I knew what I had.
Okay.
Right. So when Isaac weighed, I knew I lost. But here's what I've learned through this course of the season. Again, I haven't been doing this that long, so I learned this year for some reason that when I would weigh my fish, no matter where I was on the water, they were always heavier on the land. You guys probably know that. I don't know that. Corey confirmed that with me on Lake Erie this year, that he weighed his fish and they were heavier on land. And even like when we weighed them, so on Lake Erie, for example, we weighed them in the boat there in that harbor, and then we were in a big cluster there waiting for weigh-in in our boat. So I actually weighed them in my boat on the land, and they were heavier, right? So I was just praying that, come on, we're on dry land now. Let my bag be a little bit heavier. And then whenever Jeff Kelm told me to go back and get my basket, and come up, laid it on there. It was like slow motion. That thing just ticked up. It hit 38, and it just kept going. I'm like, yes, it just happened. Like, crazy.
I mean, out of the whole top 10, I mean, it was the whole championship was stacked with some really good anglers going to that top 10 or that top 40. Yeah. You get to the top 10. Was Isaac the guy that you're like, if anybody's going to take me out? I mean, obviously, I think that top 10 anybody could, but was Isaac the one you were like, uh-oh?
Isaac was him and Eric. So him and Eric McCoy, I guess if I had to pick a couple guys that I knew that could have come back and beat me, most likely would have been them. Now you got Jake Cahy, who he's going to win a tournament pretty soon. Jake is going to do something. He's one of, I don't know if you're going to call it most improved. I wouldn't say that, but he's learning on an exponential level with forward-facing sonar. And that dude, he's going to be something scary. So all these guys, though, any of these guys could have given me a scare. But if anybody could adjust, if their water was iced out, if anybody's going to adjust on the fly out there, it's going to be Isaac or Eric.
Yeah. So when Isaac weighed, I'm like, oh crap. I mean, I'm just trying to do the math quick. I'm like, he's got to have 38 pounds. And then you came on stage, and then a friend of mine's like, well, so he's already weighed. He's not going to win. I mean, they're just they're setting Isaac up for the win. And I'm like, dang. So I kind of had my head down, and then he said, go get your fish. And when you grabbed that basket and pulled it out of the water, I am not kidding you, I jumped up, I knocked my water over like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my god. So then you get up there and it's like, okay, gotta have what is it, 38-12. So you won by
38-02.
38-02 needed, so you ended up with 38-12, won
Yeah.
by 10 ounces. I'm like, oh my god. Well, that was a hell of a lot heavier 10 ounces than I thought it looked like when you grabbed that.
Yeah, no, too close for my comfort. I like close tournaments because it's exciting, but not when I'm up there. I don't like it.
when you weighed 43 pounds the first day, right?
Yeah,
So now you think, I mean, spectacular, 43-38. And I don't remember what Isaac had, but obviously he had enough to have 38. So he had.
We kind of flip flop. We kind of flip flop bags if you think about it. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So, but yeah, it was crazy. I think though. So my first fish I kept on that last day was a 6 pound even basically, and then the second one was like a 6.5, 6 3/4. And I look in just hindsight now, which I don't regret anything at all. I think those big fish were enough there that I could have, made a little bit more comfortable lead, but I didn't know. Like I went almost a few hours and didn't have a fish, so I'm like, I cannot gamble here. And I told my co-angler, and he's like, he goes, yeah, I agree, and good old Gary Slagle, my co-angler, I owe him a ton of credit. He's actually going to be in a brand new Ranger here pretty soon. He bought that boat.
Yeah, why would he? That's a good price.
Yeah, pretty cool.
He's going to have to get his own Elsa for that boat.
Hey, he's got to get his own, that's for sure.
He's getting that Elsa. So let's back
this one's not for sale.
There you go.
So, obviously you knew Green Bay would be something you'd like to fish for championship, but what was your thoughts on the season with Sharp and, the Mississippi River really not playing to forward-facing sonar? And that's your game, right? I mean, I watch you eat sandwiches as you try to troll, but you do not troll. So coming into the season, when you were looking into it and then the start of the season, what did you what do you say? Sean just had the Elsa.
Oh yeah. He actually said Elsa, right? He usually calls her Elsie. But, yeah. He's got too many of them. He can't keep them straight. But no, so at the beginning of the season, it's no secret. Like, I don't make excuses. The reason I'm where I'm at is because of LifeScope, and I could care less who says anything negative about it, But when it comes to the beginning of the season, those rivers are the ones. Yes, I thought I was actually looking forward to at the beginning of the season. I was looking forward to the lacrosse tournament actually more than any of them, weirdly, because I have watched bass tournaments for years on lacrosse, so I knew there was weeds. I knew there was these backwaters. And then going back to pool 3 and pool 4 last year where we fished, that's where we were fishing. A lot of us were fishing those backwaters on pool 3, pool 4, and those weeds. So I'm like, this is awesome. But what I didn't, foresee or even think about is the fact that this year was a low water year. And so those backwaters weren't even accessible, or if they were accessible, your motor was dragging bottom, So that's what I went from really high hopes from lacrosse to my dreams being crushed there. Like, it was the worst tournament I've ever fished, other than zeroing in Detroit a couple years ago. Josh Jones will remind me about that one, but I can't, I can't complain. Sharp. I finished 7th in Sharp, I think 7th or 9th. I can't remember, but
I think
and but that was my co-angler casting way, under that bridge behind the boat, catching that 5-pounder, third biggest fish of the tournament. I mean, what? And so,
Trapper says, "Who me?"
yeah, you T-Rap. But yeah, so looking at that, it had me, I knew after lacrosse that I didn't have a chance at Angler of the Year. I think I finished in 6th, I think, for the year, for Angler of the Year this year. But, I mean, I'm happy for that, but like I told Dewey when I was on stage accepting my trophy, I pointed out there at Dewey. I'm like, I want that.
Well, you're gonna go get. I gotta pop this up real quick here. Just okay. What's up with the mouse? That thing is running all over. No, I didn't want that. What in the world? Look at that thing. It's going. No, it's upside down.
Oh, geez.
You know what? A mouse.
He wants to run live scope, but he ran the mouse.
Yeah. His light goes pointing backwards.
Mike. I love weed too.
Yeah. Oh, Mike Zell, yeah, that guy.
Next year, there is always next year.
I see you come there with the expectations, and you get to these events, and they change on you. How do you keep you go to lacrosse and you have a bad finish? Like, what is your Is it just it's done, or how do you get back in the game to the next one? When you go to the.
Well, like I said, I always just want to go. Any tournament I ever step into, like I don't prepare for any tournament until I get to that tournament, like 5 or 6 days prior. Like I'll be honest with you guys, I don't look at maps. I don't look at I don't look at any of that stuff before I go. Basically the night before I start pre-fishing, when I'm at location, is when I start looking, because my thoughts are, it stresses me out too much. Like I could run here, I could run there, I put waypoints in that I want to check, but guess what? The map's not going to change when I get there. It's still going to be the same contour, same everything, and so that I keep out of my head. But once I get there, I fished with a few guys now that spent the most time in my boat. Sean Grams, Nate Wolski, Ryan Subart now out in North Dakota for the Sakakawea events. And it's crazy because, they want to check all these spots. Like Subi out there in North Dakota, for example, in Sakakawea, he's like, he might even be watching this. He can verify. He's like, I got like 15 spots, Tom. I want you to check today. We ended up checking 3, and he looks at my camera guy Gunner, and he's like, that dude, he won't leave. He won't leave a spot. But I will study. If I find a fish, I will sit on a spot for hours and just study. Like, why are they here? What's making them travel through here? What are they going to eat? I annoy Subi sometimes with that, because he's like so excited to go try all these spots, and there I am like, but that's me. And even in a tournament, like when the day 1, I never left that spot. Day 2, the final day of the tournament, when I found those fish, I never left that spot, because why? Even if they're there, if I can see them and they're not biting, they will bite. Or let's just say they're there in that spot and they leave, but the water temp's the same, the conditions are the same, but there's a lull. The fish kind of leave. I know they're going to come back, because then what if I make that run? They're not. That's like, okay, these fish left for a little bit. I make a run somewhere else to another spot. What if those fish are about to come back in 5 minutes? You know what I mean? That's in my head. So, but it's worked for me. Like I just grind a spot, grind an area. The time that it takes guys to run from point A, point B to point Z at the end of the day, I'm still fishing one area and maximizing, my time on the water. So, I will just isolate a area of the lake. Like on Sakakawea, I didn't go that far of a span. Green Bay, I didn't go that far of a span at all in pre-fish. I zeroed in on the area and just made it work.
So Sean says no side imaging also, and that's no lie. So do you run no side imaging at all?
No, it's never just even on my boat. Yeah. So Sean, it's a running joke with Sean and I. Like we'll go scan a spot with live scope, and if nothing's there, I'll sit down here in the driver's seat. I'm like, okay, should we side image now?
Yeah.
should we turn on the side imaging or high speed 2D scan or something? Should we, you know, like, but in the university too, I talk about like that when I talk about all three of these, all of the sonar technologies, I don't call them obsolete by any means. I just basically go in there and say, I don't use them. And I'm trying to, I don't know if it's prove is the word, but I'm trying to show that a person can be effective just using forward-facing sonar to dissect these waters extremely efficiently, you know. And but yeah, Sean's right. I don't use side imaging or down imaging.
Yeah, and I think that I agree with that. I love 2D, I love down imaging, I love side imaging, but it's a different way of fishing, right? If you're going to fish with live scope, fish with live scope. Live scope is going to tell you everything, maybe not as perfectly as you might get with side imaging, right? Because side imaging is going to define things a little bit better. But fish with live scope, and I want to say this real quick because I've got a new take on the live sonar. And it's I believe next week it's an episode. I think I called it the myth of releasing big walleye. So here's my deal. Everybody that's poo-pooing live sonar and pissed off because all these big fish are being caught, you have to look at the age of the fish. The oldest walleye that has been recorded is 29 years. So that's 87 years in human. If you do the dog age thing, right? 7 to 1, and it's really today it's more like 5 to 1. So walleye would be 3 to 1. So a 25-year-old walleye is basically, let's say, 75. The average human lifespan is 73. So we've got all these 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've got all these massive walleye down there that we're catching now that we wouldn't have caught if it weren't for live sonar. So we've got walleye that are dying every day below the surface. We've never known it. We have no idea how many 18-pound walleye have died in Hawaii over the last 3 years. We don't have a clue, but because of live scope, we're catching these fish that would have died from natural causes, or they would have aged out old age. So instead of bashing live sonar, we all need to praise it because we've all got wall hangers and big fish on the wall and memories that we've released back in because of it. If not, all of those walleye would have just died. We'd had our occasional 1 or 2, a month or whatever on the resort Facebook page, but now it's 2 to 3 a week and sometimes 2 or 3 a day. So live sonar gave us a gift, a huge gift, and we're lucky enough to be living that age right now. That's what I think. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, and they say those are your breeder walleyes or whatever. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but like genetics are genetics, right? Whether that same walleye is 24 inches or if it's 32 inches, it's the same genes. And so that's the other way of looking at it. And as far as catching them with forward-facing sonar and releasing them versus the way we caught these big walleyes before. Now, this is just my thinking. I'm not a scientist. I do fingernails, remember. But I think when we were catching these big ones before, we were trolling, right? We were trolling. And what happens when a fish hits a crankbait, right? It bites it. What happens? You're pulling it, and that fish just rockets to the surface, sleds to the surface. So that's why people got in the mindset, I think, that we're killing these walleyes now because we're catching more of them. But here's the thing: when I'm live scoping these fish, I'm using 8-pound test line. I'm using medium light rods, and they are not rocketing to the surface anymore. They're not, we're fighting these fish. I'm bringing them in on light tackle, so I'm bringing them really slow. So that's, I think, too, and I understand people's, thought on it. I understand their side of it, but the thing is, one thing we've never been able to do before that we can now is actually see them. We can see them. We can see, like when I released these fish last year, my buddy Jim Petrick and I, Lake of the Woods, we caught some big fish, and we released them and we screen recorded them going down,
And we actually stayed with some of these fish for just, I mean, it was kind of a boring day, but we stayed with some of these fish for hours just to see, and they went down to basically the what do you want to call it? The depth that we caught them at. Yep. Where we caught them at, went back to that same depth. And then even one of them, like one of the ones that we followed the longest, actually started swimming a little bit, and I said, "Hey Jim, let's just cast at this just for curiosity." And she actually showed like attention to the jig, but she didn't, commit. Obviously, she just looked and then started swimming some more. And then so she kept swimming. We're following her for about 20 more minutes. And then she looked, so there's like a school of maybe small saugers above her, like 4 or 5 of them, maybe about 15 to 20 feet above her. And so she's swimming, and I'm like, let's see what she does here. And so she could see their silhouette, and she actually looked and started swimming a little bit up, but then she didn't. But the fact that she was a little bit curious kind of showed me that maybe she's, good, So again, I'm not a biologist, but I feel that, a lot of people who caught them trolling before just witnessed a lot of those fish die, their eyes bulging out and things. Now, if you catch a fish in like 50, 60, 70 feet of water, yeah, but I think there's a limited range where a lot of us are fishing the most, like on Green Bay. Hey, Green Bay, I was catching them at 30 to 45 feet of water, and every single one of those fish were alive when I came in.
Yeah.
Until again.
29 and a half, 3 weeks ago out of 60 feet of water, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Her eyes, everything was fine. And I caught a 26 in 45 feet of water, and it was fine. They released instantly, and watched them swim back down and swim away.
So I've been meaning to ask you this about with your forward facing, because there's guys out here that are doing it now. Do you have one mounted on the transom facing forward?
I do not. I don't have one on the transom at all. So Nate and I experimented with that years ago before anybody was even talking about it, and we didn't see any benefit in it. We just that was some people might have some benefit in it, but by the time that literally you're idling, right? So you're going what, 4 or 5 miles an hour looking, just if it's on your transom looking out sideways, right?
No,
by the time
directly.
They got it mounted in the center, shooting forward.
Oh,
shooting forward.
Oh, so they're shooting straight ahead of the boat 100 feet. So the one guy told me like 10, 15 miles an hour, and then he can see them, and then he can drop his trolling motor when he's that much further away from them and get on them.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to dictate size going that fast.
Yeah,
and that's huge. So see, that would be, to me, it'd be almost a detriment. It would be holding me back, because like you think about it, yes, you can scan at 10, 15 miles an hour looking forward, but what happens? You're looking straight. You see one mark, what are you going to do? You're going to stop your motor, get up front, and go fish for that one mark, and you don't even know how big it is. See, that to me is like, it's almost like
I think people they're using that mainly in Lake Oahe to look for the lake herring. I think they're mainly
okay. Yes, if you're looking for
they're looking for the lake herring bait out there, and then that's when they know they got to get on the trolling and start looking. I don't think they're looking for specific fish, or finding the bait.
Yep. If you're looking for bait, I can see it mounted to the transom, probably looking either to the side or out front. Either way, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So or like my pole here, like the sniper pole here. I don't have it in the boat now, but it's a handle you just turn like this, and it flings your thing around. Like I can have that and idle at a fairly good rate as well, and still pan and look. So yes, you have options definitely there. Any tool that people can utilize, people are going to come up with things that I've never thought of. And if you're looking for structure, trees, big boulders, or like bait fish, yeah, I can see that, I guess.
So we got a couple questions here. We got a couple back-to-back. Trolling motors on the back. How do the brakes on the back of your power poles working? I know we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is
So
it really the deal?
you can see them right there.
Oh, there they are.
Yep. So basically, it is so on Green Bay, for example, I was able to go to scan, and I'm moving with the wind, with the waves, these big waves. Now, if it's just a slight chop, I'm a lot of times going against the waves for better boat control. But there's a time when you just can't. You're not making any headway at all. You're burning up your batteries. So I'm going with the waves, and then when I would see a fish or target, I'm coming in hot, right? I'm coming in like 3-4 miles an hour, and then I would punch. There's a red and green stomp switch up front by my trolling motor pedal. The red is to put the brakes on, so it would activate these trolling motors back here, the trolling motors on the power poles, and it would just slow me down so I could stay away from that fish and make my cast forward instead of blowing them out, right? So it was huge. I can't even explain. I am so thankful that that guy down there reached out to me from Power Brake. That's the name of this. That's the brand that they are. They're Power Brakes, and it was just meant to be. He reached out before, right before, a little bit before the championship, installed them, and I was like, well, let's just see how they work. And Sean were there to experience it with me a little bit, and I tell you, it was key.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was walking around the Classic like the last day, and everybody's kind of packing up, and I stopped and talked to this guy about him, and he's like, "Yeah, I really want to get in the walleye world. Who's a good?" And we started talking walleye fishing, and he's like, I got him on Joe Okada's boat, blah blah blah. I said, "If you want the best live scoper there is, he's standing downstairs." And he's like, "Oh, maybe I'll talk to him later." And he's like, "You know what? Let's walk down there." So I walked him directly to you and Eric. And I'm like, if you want somebody to try these and give you an honest opinion, here's your dude. There's nobody else out there that's going to be honest and give you everything they think. And I was just my little part in for you to have him on the back of your boat because I just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And also you guys, I think, were the first to make this comment when you're talking about people live scoping or your good live scopers out there. And I think I live scope faster than anybody. I really do. Just because I've been doing it since the inception basically of it. So I do have that boat control advantage, but I'm moving fast because I'm just reading these fish on the fly. And there's two stomp switches, right? A red one and a green one. So that green one is actually also pushing me forward along with my Kraken, and I'm able to cover a lot more water. Now, that's not for everybody. You guys watching this, when you're learning live scope, don't go fast. You're gonna be missing a lot of stuff, right? So take your time. I've seen guys fishing around me in tournaments that are trying to keep up with me. I don't know if it's a mental game. They're trying to keep up with me as I'm live scoping, and they end up not doing well. They have to slow down to what their capabilities are and just grow from there. But if I'm fishing in the area or next to them, they're trying to keep up, and it's like, just slow down a little bit. But what I'm saying is, as you get better, as you get faster, these power brakes, they don't just work for brakes. They'll propel you forward, as well.
So we have another question. Can you still utilize your anchor feature with the brakes?
Yeah. My spot lock on my, are you talking spot lock?
The power poles, putting your poles down.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You still have
100%.
your paddles.
Yeah. The spikes themselves are good, over 2 feet or so, spike underneath the motors. So yeah.
More there, I think.
Oh, we got a couple questions. I'm trying to play them into the right spot. Well, we'll just
was that Dan McGuire?
Yeah, Dan asked that question.
What's going on, Dan? How's it going, Dan?
Sean's got a question. So People asking about Elsa. Can you explain? And does she sing? Still sing?
Let's see, Elsa.
Here we go.
She sings.
Oh yeah, batteries are charged.
Yeah. And look at her heart right here even glows.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, Sean. Tell Debbie again, Sean. I said thank you.
That's funny.
Why is he still on the boat? Well, we talked about that. That he's going to keep that in the boat forever, and you're never taking it from him. So,
Yeah.
as if you need to go any faster, that Kraken bit's enough.
Yeah. No, it's impressive. That Kraken, well, it's that 75-inch Kraken. Sean actually looked under the water one time as I'm thrusting on 100% there, and that thing just goes. It bends like it's not gonna break, right? But they make them like that. But it's just impressive how strong those things are.
Zell said you need to put Sean's voice in her now.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna record that laugh, and I'm gonna put it right inside her there.
We did have another question I skipped over because we haven't got to THU that much. But somebody asked, when can we get when is it expect the next Pacific Lake to come out at THU?
And what lake will it be?
Yeah, what lake will it be?
The next one is going to be either this winter or early winter or next spring, hopefully. And that one is going to be one of my favorite, or my stomping grounds, Leech Lake.
Excellent.
Nice.
Okay, so explain this then.
I can't. No, you guys will see soon. It's just a little deal for celebrating the championship, but
So I kind of this earlier. He was Jeff wants to know how much damage could be done in pool 2.
Pool 2. I don't even know. I've never even fished pool 2. Damage as far as life scope damage?
Like catching like the big fish, because his comment earlier was let's see here. I kind of skipped over here. Very interesting how much damage you could do in pool 2 CNR for a long time, and there's hogs in there.
Well, pool 2, is it mostly current related fishing, I think, right? Instead of your backwater weeds and stuff like that, or so if it's current related, if it's current related as far as you're fishing swift, true river current for these big walleyes, like we traditionally have in all of these river systems, right? Then I don't see forward-facing sonar being even too effective in those swift river currents. Because you can't single out an individual fish when you have true 2 to 3 mile an hour current. You just can't. You even if you see it for a little bit, it's back down to the bottom. Or even if you were to be able to single out that fish and follow it around for a while, by the time you cast to it, your bait's gone in that current. So, live scope is key in river situations to find structure, to find underwater current breaks, things like that. But as far as it, being able to catch more walleyes, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Jeff said he's invited you a few times, and then he also commented that he knows a few backwaters for you, Tom.
Jeff is one of the first ones to congratulate me after that championship too. So I appreciate you, Jeff. And
I tried
the only problem.
Stage and I text you.
Right. Yep, same here.
Yeah, the only problem is I can't I hardly. This sounds really weird, but I don't actually get to fish a ton unless I'm getting, screen recordings and stuff like that. And I'm really not fishing. I'm recording, but yeah. But I would like to get down there and learn pool 2.
So we got another question from Steve Miller. What Garmin units are you using?
So I have 2 Garmin units. here at the dash, and they are the Garmin. Can't turn this around. Let's see here. Right here, I got the Ultras right here, 2 Ultra screens, and then up front, this is the Garmin 9019. Okay, it's a 19-inch screen, and this is another 12-inch.
Mount.
12-inch. Oh, yes, custom Sean Graham's baby SGB mount right here. Yeah. So okay, let me explain the 9019. People are going to be like, okay, that's why he's doing so well. Not the case. No. So the 9000 series came out from Garmin 2 years ago, and it's the first 4K resolution screen on the market from any brand. So I'm like, I better not be missing out on anything. So I got that screen just because I wanted to see. I didn't want to miss out on anything, but I'm not. Okay. So the live scope, the black box can't transmit that kind of quality. So if I had to buy another screen, like this is that screen I bought 2 years ago when I sold the boat, they didn't want to buy it. It's you know what I mean? It's just overkill for a lot of people. But I kept this screen, and it's nice for eye relief. Don't get me wrong, but that 16-inch screen that Garmin has is just equal to what your eyes can see as this 19. It's like hooking a VCR to an Ultra HD TV. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that.
Right.
Your black box is limiting you pixels anyways.
Yep.
So there's no need to spend 10 grand on the 9000. Just get the 8600. Right?
Yes. Yep. Yep. Hey. Yeah. So now they got that 166 Ultra.
Yeah.
So that 166 now has equal resolution to the 8600. So now you can get that, and it's going to be, if it's just live scope only screen, that's all you need. I mean that's the resolution's good, 16 inches still, and it can network with your other Ultras. So that's that just came out. So
okay,
nice.
So that honestly, I was going to ask you that stuff anyway, because I right now I'm dealing with Humminbird Live, and I'm dealing with my Garmin Ice Bundle, and that's how I'm scoping. Yep. And a couple of my neighbors have the 8612s, and they are night and day different than the other two. So now I'm trying to decide, what do I want to do for a live scoping unit? So I should get the 166 because I'm scoping only. I don't need the side imaging. I got that on my Lowrance, and I'm fine.
Yeah, so I would definitely just do the 166.
Okay. Yeah, we run a 166. It's a game changer.
And that's with the 34 deucer, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get the 34. I don't even know if you can buy a 32 anywhere right now, but
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, killer year for you. I mean, what else can we say?
Amazing.
Back-to-back championships. Next year, the championship is a very good in your backyard body of water you love a lot, Skakoia. You got no anglers ever three-peated it championship. So we're going to put some pressure. We want an angler of the year and a championship win out of you next year.
You know what's going to happen?
Hold on, because he's charging us 79 cents a minute here. Or was it $79 a minute?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, $79. So
$100.
Yeah, no. So yeah.
Yeah. So,
absolutely go out.
I'm going to try.
Do it all.
Oh, we got a question. Favorite smallmouth recipe?
Oh my!
From a smallmouth fisherman. That
favorite smallmouth recipe?
Yeah.
As far as eating them,
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, just the same as the way I cook walleyes. So down south in Arkansas for catfish, and so down south, catfish is huge. Like it's huge. So catfish, even bass down there is huge. It's weird. We don't eat walleyes down south. I don't understand why. But it's the same recipe my mom's always used. Basically, I don't use any liquid other than the water that, if you freeze, your walleyes, or if you just run it underwater right before you bread them. But my breading is basically 90% cornmeal, about 10% flour, and whatever you want to season it with, and I just press that in there and throw it in the oil. It's crazy good. Like it's like the Southern style fish fry. Yeah.
We got another comment here that you charge your own mom 64 cents a minute for a call.
Hey, she's down there in Arkansas. She shouldn't be able to be allowed to use this technology. but she's right. She called the other day, and I'm like, all right, Mom, time starts right now.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So Drew Schutz also said it was sure more fun fishing with Tom last year than against him this year. Tom, congrats.
Yeah, appreciate you, Drew. That was awesome last year, man.
Scott says wrong answer.
Wrong answer. Yeah, have something else in mind. Don't eat smallmouth, maybe. I don't know.
How many people do you think use active target?
How many pro anglers use active target? 4 that I can think of right now. On the National Walleye Tour, I can think of 4. Everybody else, I can only think of 1 off my head that uses Mega Live, and all the rest of us use Garmin. That's just what I can think of just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dewey switched, Hoyer runs Lowrance, Corpse runs Humminbird.
Yep.
And I guess
Corey and Chase run active target, and so does Corey Heiser runs active target. Yep. So that's where my numbers come from, right there.
About the same answers.
It's actually pretty good. Okay, this episode brought to you by
Yeah. Oh, Tony down there with his dreads. Oh, he's got it. I'm going to send. He needs to send you a video of his surveillance footage of him watching the weigh-in. He needs to send you that. It was awesome.
All right, Tony. I'll text him when we get done.
Zell Dinger Lowrance too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Your invite to Tony, and he's like, "This is Tony. I don't think you want me on the show." I'm like, "Oh crap!" I'm like, I just feel like, how many wins can I have in my phone, in my contacts? I guess.
Yeah, I know. Huh?
Unless you want to give me your mom number too. I mean, it should 50 cents a minute. I'll talk to her.
Yeah.
I had other questions I was going to ask, and you had to throw that out there. So you go into this next year, ready to go back, trying to go again for your next championship. We need a regular season win out of you. You like the championship wins.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, I would take that too, but I mean, it's all in what you do, right?
Yeah, it's
you just got the security footage.
Yep, there he is. He watched him. Now watch him. Now watch him, guys. And then right after he hollers. Okay, watch this. Watch this. Now watch this. He just walks right out the door. Bye.
Well, that's why he didn't text me back right away when I
No, I was going to ask. So, Green Bay, big water, run the Vexus. Give us a little, what you thinking? I mean, you've been in the Vexus pretty much since you got into a fiberglass boat.
Yes. And people have asked me multiple times after these big waters, did you break anything today? Did you break anything today? And so far, I don't want to jinx it, but 0 times on all this big water. It's awesome. So awesome. And very thankful I'm able to go down. I was able to go down to Arkansas to see how they were built. And I don't know anything about the construction of boats, but when I got to see how they did theirs and their injection molding system to make their hulls, it only makes sense why they are like this. It's impressive, and I hope they never change.
My Vexus shirt tonight.
There you go. Yeah, it's awesome, and I can't wait to go down there this winter in December. They invited me down to do life sculpt training for their staff and their other pros through the bass world and everything. So that's going to be pretty cool.
So, yeah, I want to watch you train John Cox.
Oh yeah, we'll see how that goes. I have to.
We want that one live. We'll come film that live.
First off, I have to show them where the power button is.
So, people always like, obviously Vex is a huge supporter of the fishing crew. We love the crew of Vexus. They're great. One comment I get from guys that have never been in one, they sit so high. They sit so much higher than my Ranger or my whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna catch wind. What's your take on that?
It's awesome. Like the front deck is way higher, and the shallower gunnels. Like for the way we're fishing now, if you're on the front, that's what you want. Because with casting, a lot, like I teach people, most of my casts are underhand. And when you're going to be the most precise, you're going to have an underhand cast. And in high winds, you don't want that overhand cast anyway, because it's collecting too much wind and bow in your line. So the underhand cast is key. So with these gunnels the way they are, and with the higher deck, that's why the Vexus they foresaw this before any other boat company for us casters up front. And so that's why it's like that. Otherwise, I don't know what would be the advantage of having a deeper up there. And the storage then is also much more, because you do have a raised deck, right? So there's all those benefits. And as far as like people thinking they're going to fall out, I haven't heard of anybody. And hey, I'm aggressive on that trolling motor, and I have Sean Graham's. I what did he say? Oh, but I turned real hard on the trolling motor out on Green Bay, and his upper torso was completely over the water, and somehow he adjusted himself to fall in the boat. And his body, his full entire weight fell on the windshield, which would scare most people, but his whole entire weight fell on the windshield, and I mean, nothing.
So, but I think what they, I agree with the deck, and that's why I tell people when you're, live scoping, you can stand two people up there. It's much wider. It's, there's way more room and everything. But I think they're talking about the sidewall of the actual boat catching more wind.
Hey, I just won 2 championships out of a Vexus. So, I mean,
out of a Vexus,
and if wind affects anybody, it's going to be a live scoper. And I think I haven't had, and it makes sense, right? If it's more boat out of the water, yes, it's going to collect more wind. But I haven't seen an issue with it. I mean, you know what I mean? So
that's one knock people give, and I'm like, get in one, go fish in one. I'll take you out anytime.
Yep.
You can, but just by sitting there in the parking lot looking at them or sitting on the water, like, oh, it's so much taller than mine. No waves over the front. And if anybody wants to know how much the front end of a Vexus can support, Tom was gracious enough to take his time during the NWT and Pier and train our fire department. That picture, I mean, I showed that to George Little the next day when he was here, and he's like, that is like a cover photo with all them guys in your boat. I mean, we could have done that in another boat. There was another boat we could have done what that photo was.
No. I think we had 7 adult humans up there.
I took that picture. I saw that, and I'm like, I got to get a picture of this, because I was on the boat for a minute, then I hopped off, and I took a picture of it, and I'm like, this is insane. There's like 7 guys up in the front overlooking that 19-inch graph. So
co-angler of the year, Kevin, congrats.
Co-angler of the year chiming in.
Awesome.
Well, we're losing you, buddy, and you're out filming, doing some stuff. We're going to disappear into the background, kind of perfect fit.
Right on.
Well, we appreciate you. One of these days you get to come fish with us. Maybe you can come fish the Fall Brawl in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. No, I got other stuff going on. But let's busy. But you guys take care. I really appreciate you guys always. I always try to get on you guys' show to see who you guys have on. You two are one of the best right now doing this. I don't know anybody better actually doing them live. So you guys are awesome.
Hey, we appreciate that, buddy. And you take care, and we'll catch you along the way here soon.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yep.
you.